Peter was standing in the middle of his backyard at 6 a.m., staring at the empty soil he had planted the day before. No flowers, no sprouts, nothing. And he was furious. "Where are the flowers?" he yelled at the sky, as if nature had broken a contract. It might sound ridiculous, but Peter was like this with everything in life. And this mindset was about to cost him the chance of a lifetime, a position at a startup that could be worth millions. If you've ever quit something because you didn't see results in a week, this story will hit you hard. Stay until the end because I'll reveal what Peter discovered about the true cost of impatience.
Welcome to Stories to Grow, where real stories become life lessons. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any inspiring story. Peter was 25 in what we call the microwave generation. Everything in his life had to be instant. When he decided to learn Spanish, he bought 5 different courses and expected to be fluent in 3 months. He quit after the second month because it wasn't working. When he started at the gym, he wanted 6-pack abs in 6 weeks. He gave up because he saw no changes in the first 2 weeks. Peter had tried being a YouTuber, quit after 10 videos with few views, tried day trading, lost $800 in the first week and stopped. Tried learning guitar, sold the instrument after a month because his hands weren't made for it. His mom always said, "Peter, you have talent for starting, but zero patience for continuing." And she was right. Peter lived on an emotional roller coaster. Total excitement at the beginning, deep frustration when results didn't appear at the speed he wanted.
But it was in March 2023 that Peter had his most expensive lesson about impatience. And it all started with a garden. Peter had moved to a house with a small backyard. His girlfriend, Sarah, suggested,
"Why don't you plant a garden? It'll be relaxing."
Peter loved the idea. Not for the tranquility, but because he imagined the amazing photos he'd post on Instagram. Hashtag perfect garden. Hashtag healthy life. Hashtag nature connection. He went to the nursery on Saturday morning, super excited. Spent $200 on seeds for the most beautiful flowers. Sunflowers, roses, tulips, orchids. The salesman tried to explain about planting seasons, soil types, germination time. "Dude, I just want to know when the flowers will bloom," Peter interrupted. "Well, it depends on the plant, but usually between 2 weeks to 3 months to see real results." Peter didn't hear the rest. In his mind, 2 weeks became a few days. He got home and planted everything on the same day, mixed all the seeds, poured water abundantly, and went to sleep dreaming of the garden that would be the neighborhood highlight. But then Monday came, and the hell of impatience began.
Monday, 6 a.m. Peter woke up and ran to the backyard. Soil. Just soil. Maybe it's too early, he thought. Tuesday, same time. Nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, Peter was digging the soil with a spoon to see if the seeds were doing anything. Some were already rotting from too much water. Friday was the day Peter exploded. He was in the backyard, arms crossed, looking at the soil as if it had personally betrayed him. "This is a scam," he yelled. "The nursery guy tricked me." Sarah tried to calm him down.
"Honey, plants really do take time to grow. It's nature."
"Nature is wrong," he replied, completely serious. The following Saturday, just 1 week after planting, Peter was back at the nursery demanding his money back. "The seeds are defective," he declared. The salesman, a 60-year-old man named Joe, looked at Peter with the patience of someone who's seen it all. "Son, You overwatered, mixed plants that need different soils, and you're demanding results in 1 week. Gardening isn't fast food. Peter left there irritated, convinced that gardening was old people stuff anyway.
But while Peter was giving up on the garden, something much more important was happening in his life, and he had no idea. Peter worked as a marketing analyst at a medium-sized company. Okay job, okay salary, okay life, but nothing exciting. Until April brought a proposal that would change everything. Mark, a college friend, called. "Peter, remember I told you about my startup? We just got our first serious investment. I need someone to lead digital marketing. Would you quit everything and come with me?" Peter almost jumped out of his chair. It was exactly what he'd always dreamed of. Startup, innovation, possibility of getting rich if the company took off. "How much do you pay?" he asked. "Look, initially it'll be 70% of your current salary. But if it works out, you'll become a partner with 5% of the company." Peter did the math quickly. If the startup was worth $2 million in a few years, 5% would be $100,000. If it was worth $20 million, "I accept," he said immediately. "Great. Just one thing. The work will be tough the first year. Startup marketing is a marathon, not a sprint. Results take time to appear, but when they come strong. Do you have patience?" Peter laughed. "Of course, leave it to me." But Peter didn't have patience, and that would become clear very quickly. Peter started at the startup in May, super excited. He created amazing campaigns, creative posts, well-thought strategies. First week, 50 new Instagram followers for the company. Little, but it's a start, he thought. Second week, 30 new followers. Should be growing more. Third week, 20 new followers. Peter started getting nervous. A month later, the startup had gained 200 followers. Some small sales, but nothing spectacular. Peter was expecting viral results. "Mark, this strategy isn't working," Peter said in a meeting. "Dude, it's been a month. Digital marketing takes time to build an audience. You know this." "But the competitors already have thousands of followers." "They've been in the market for 3 years, Peter." Second month, Peter completely changed the strategy. New visual identity, new communication tone, new types of posts. Third month, changed again. Fourth month, another radical change. Mark started getting worried. "Peter, you're changing everything all the time. How will we know what works if we don't give anything time?" "Because what we're doing clearly doesn't work," Peter exploded. And that's when the end began.
Month 5 was when Peter went into total panic mode. He was seeing other startups appearing on social media, being mentioned in blogs, winning awards, and his company, invisible, in his opinion. Peter started working 12 hours a day, desperately creating content, trying any tactic that promised quick results. He bought fake followers, made questionable partnerships, posted 5 times a day because the more content, the faster it grows. Sarah tried to calm him down.
Honey, you're obsessed. Maybe digital marketing is really slow at first.
"You don't understand," Peter yelled. "If I don't show results soon, they'll fire me." The truth is, no one was thinking of firing him. But Peter was so desperate for immediate results that he created non-existent pressure. 6th month. Peter was exhausted, frustrated, and started missing meetings. "I'm not cut out for this," he told Mark. "Startup marketing is too unpredictable. I prefer a job with more guaranteed results." Mark was shocked. "Peter, dude, you're quitting now? Just when things are starting to pick up?" "Pick up? We have 800 followers in 6 months. And 50 paying customers who found us through your campaigns. Peter, this is success for a 6-month-old startup." But Peter had already decided. A week later, He resigned.
And that's when he discovered the real price of impatience. Peter returned to his previous job. Lower salary, but safe. At least he knew what to expect. 6 months later, Peter was scrolling through Instagram when he saw something that froze his blood. Mark's startup had closed a $1 million partnership with a major company. The article said, "Solid organic growth over the past 12 months caught investors' attention." Peter ran to check the numbers. The company now had 15,000 followers, hundreds of clients, and was valued at $5 million. If Peter had stayed, his 5% would be worth $250,000. But the most painful part came after. Peter called Mark. "Dude, congrats on the success. How did you guys take off?" "Peter, man, it was exactly the strategy you created at the beginning. You know those campaigns from the first months? We continued with them. It took almost a year to see real results, but when it started working..." Peter hung up in shock. It was at that moment he remembered the garden, and a pang in his chest made him run to the backyard. There was Sarah watering a beautiful garden, full of colorful flowers. "Honey, what garden is this?"
These are the seeds you planted last year. I kept taking care of them after you gave up. Look how beautiful it turned out.
Peter sat on the ground and cried. Not from sadness, but from understanding.
That day, Peter understood a truth that changed his life. He didn't have problems with results, he had problems with time. Peter started studying what psychologists call delayed gratification. He discovered that successful people aren't more talented, they're more patient. Peter created what he called the patience experiment. He planted a new garden, but this time with one rule. He couldn't quit for 6 months, regardless of what happened. First 2 months, almost nothing. Third month, small sprouts. Fourth month, real leaves. Fifth month, flower buds. Sixth month, explosion of colors. This is exactly how life works, Peter realized. He applied the same patience to other areas. Went back to learning Spanish, this time with a 2-year goal, not 3 months. Result? Real fluency. Returned to the gym focusing on 1 year of process, not 6 weeks of results. Result? The body he always wanted. Started a YouTube channel about gardening. Promised himself 100 videos before evaluating success. Result? 50,000 subscribers in the first year. But the biggest change came when Mark called again. "Peter, the startup has grown a lot. We need someone to lead a new area. Have you changed?" Peter smiled. "Mark, when do you need results?" "Look, it's a 2-year minimum project to see real return." "Perfect. When do I start?"
Peter's story teaches us 3 powerful lessons. First lesson: real results have 2 invisible phases, preparation and acceleration. Most people quit in the preparation phase, which is exactly where the magic happens. Second lesson: impatience isn't a personality flaw. It's lack of education about how growth really works. Everything in nature grows slowly first, then accelerates. Third lesson: the time you lose waiting isn't lost, it's invested. Every day you don't see results is a day you're building the foundation for results to appear. Today, Peter has his own landscaping and consulting business. He told me something I'll never forget. I discovered there's no such thing as overnight success. There's success you didn't see coming because you were busy planting. And if you want to apply this today, here's the challenge. Choose one thing you abandoned for lack of quick results. Go back to it, but this time with a minimum 6-month deadline to evaluate. Could be exercise, study, relationships, personal project. Whatever it is, give it time to grow.
So, which garden are you going to start watering again? Tell me in the comments what project you abandoned due to impatience and commit to giving it a second chance. If this story inspired you, hit that like button to show that stories about patience and perseverance make a difference in people's lives. And subscribe to the channel, because every week I bring a new story that can change how you see life's challenges. Until the next story, and remember, great gardens don't grow in a week, but when they do grow, they feed you for a lifetime. See you next time.